Yeah, so I'll run you through. Basically, here's, let's see, I need my laptop. Yeah, so here is my MacBook. Boop. And when I do videos, rarely do I do full-on scripts, as if you couldn't tell that my videos weren't totally scripted. I know they seem very scripted, but I usually do outlines like this. So I have a notes document. This is like kind of where I live, is in the Notes app. Because it's so versatile, you can use it on your phone, you can use it, oh, I know there's a way to do picture-in-picture, but I'll figure that out later. Anyway, you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your iPad, you can do it on your computer, so every time I have ideas, I can just throw it in here. And this is really the outline I've done for today's video, which is all about an uninterrupted power supply for your computer, because turns out smart audio, video, streaming, computer people have been using these for a long time, and I have not. And I only learned about them recently and how important they are. So I figured that'd be a good thing to do a video about. So up at the top, I have bold titles that I'm thinking of using. And I hope this doesn't sound terrible, but I've been not trying to do clickbaity titles, but trying to do titles that more broadly appeal. I've always done kind of specific titles. So like, why you need an uninterrupted power supply for your computer setup, which is true. And it's a good title, but like, unless you're somebody who's very interested in computer power supplies, it might not be super interesting. So by taking like that more clickbaity approach and doing it as like the most important piece of gear you're probably ignoring, like something like that about, I'm trying to take the angle, at least with the title, of like, there's a mistake you're probably making right now. And maybe that would be more broadly appealing to people than just power supply stuff. And then I usually do write out my intros and some of my main points, because the intros have the hook, which usually has wordplay that needs to be done in a very specific order. And then the rest is just kind of bullet points. And this whole document is just my video template description. So when I'm done, I can just copy and paste the whole thing into the video. So you can see here today, the thing I need to start out is, it's easy to forget how much everything we use relies on power, to overlook the power of the power to supply, so to speak. It wasn't until recently that I realized how important an uninterrupted power supply is, so I finally picked up a UPS. I don't know. That's like, the one thing with this, because uninterrupted power supply can be abbreviated by UPS, which is funny because you can say pick up, level up, ups, UPS. Like UPS is also a delivery company. So like I tried to put in some stupid jokes about that, and that's kind of it. Patrick is asking, can I juggle only these responsibilities here? Like, Roger, this could be interesting. It's all in the execution, I suppose. Isn't it crazy that we probably hear that title in that exact voice inflection? So another thing that I wanted to do today, if I can get through the video part, is actually film all the B-roll, which will be kind of weird because the thing itself is over here. It's just a black box. Like, it honestly looks like a cheap Windows PC. It's not a very interesting looking device. So filming B-roll for that's going to be a little challenging to make it look interesting. And then also taking a thumbnail. So I'm open to group suggestions for title and thumbnail, because I've been trying really hard to level up my titles and my thumbnails. But there's a couple things I needed to look up here. I saw like, how big is the thing that I have and how long does the battery last? So I'll just show you actually. We'll go over to this stream here. I just got my power supply from Costco, because based on Doc Rock's suggestion, insurrection, I don't know, Doc Rock's insurrection. It was cyber power, but it wasn't $179. Interesting. Maybe they have it on Amazon. It was like the cheaper one of this, because it was the only one they had. Cyber power. So this is me doing me doing research for my video. Mine was only $100 though. But it looks just like this, but it's not $1,500. Sorry, I'm gonna go on the back over here and see if I can like see. Oy. let's see. Oh no, I moved my camera that I had set up for framing. That sucks. No, there is no info on here. So that's okay, because I'm not trying to talk about this product specifically. I'm trying to talk about uninterrupted power supplies. Chihuahua! I knocked down all my display stuff. Oi. So my one-arm streaming stand had some failure there. That's my fault, though. That's not... Anyway. Oh, I still have a comment on stream. It's just Patrick's comment. So anyway, what I was saying was that the one I'm using... I'm not talking about, like, you need this specific one. It's more about the idea of, like, you should have an uninterrupted power supply. So I don't really care about giving the specific specs for mine, but it would be nice to have them if people ask for them. But I know it's not the 1500 volt one. Ah, that's not it either. That's not it. That's not it. This is kind of it. 1350. Yes, this is the guy. Okay, cool. So it's 1350 and the battery, $500,000 connected equipment guarantee. Geesh. Anyway, I know that's all very exciting stuff. So that's basically it. I'm going to plow my way through the A-roll, and then we will figure out everything else. What's ups today, Chip? Cool. So let me swap out one of these things. I'm going to take out my computer. Ow. And connect. I'm also working off a slight back injury, so that's it's a weird day to be moving around a lot. So there we go. So now I have put on my main camera to the YoloBox, boom, which is over here. Hello. And I had it all framed up really nicely before we started doing anything. I've started doing this standing shot, which I really like. I need to make this bigger. The YoloBox is also going to be my monitor while recording, because I don't have my computer available for that. There. All right, so now if I stand here, the standing shot's been fun for a couple of reasons, because it's different. Also, when I used to like teach as a job, I would stand. I wouldn't like sit at my desk and teach, so it feels a little more natural. And I also noticed the sound is a little bit better because I'm not so close to the desk where the sound is reflecting off of the hard surface of the desk. So it's easier for me to get better sound quality doing that. And I'm just going to be using the Rode VideoMic NTG, which is not what you're listening to right now. And that's just out of this frame, basically pointed right at my chest. And I did a test recording and checked the levels beforehand. So I'm not like switching permanently to the standing shot. It's just for some things it's kind of fun. And I like it right now. One thing though that does bother me is this reflection back here in this picture. But there's not a lot I can do with that other than like try to stand in front of it maybe. It is what it is. It doesn't need to be totally perfect. Now I want to also not be super sweaty as I start recording. So, oh, let me show you my recording setup before we like jump into it so you can see how I have everything totally set up. So I would need to switch to here. Okay, so here's the streaming setup, which I talked about earlier. And the YoloBox is here. And if I push this button, it goes big. So when I'm over here, that's what I'm using as my reference monitor. I'm trying to move slowly to like avoid motion sickness. Normally I have eCam running on my main monitor, and that's what I use for reference. However, I'm not gonna be using that today, so can't do that. Camera is the Sony a7S III. I mentioned that earlier. I'm not using the slider for this. And then the microphone is the Rode VideoMic NTG going directly into the camera. This is where the blue compass lives, because as a boom arm, I totally wouldn't recommend it because it's just really hard to adjust. Like, you know, the NT1 will just put or not NT one, the PSA one will just stay wherever you put it. The Blue Compass likes to be really tall, but since I'm using it for a mic that's above the frame, it actually works out really well. And then, as I slowly pan over, if Heather's watching, she gets motion sick really easily, and I know other people do too, so I'm trying to be aware of that. I'll do a camcorder zoom here. I have my B camera here, which is a Canon EOS R with the RF 50mm 1.8. And that's just over in the corner as like a B shot. I don't have a live feed into that camera, so you won't be able to see that. And that's pretty much it. So I'm staring at that while recording. And then I've got my Nan light, Forza 200 with a Light Dome Mini bouncing off of there. My regular lighting setup. My Dracast light is like a little bit of fill, and this Falconized light as my backlight, along with all of the like accent lights. These are Aperture B7Cs, and then there's just a lot of Pavo tubes all around for accent stuff. And back to the YoloBox. YOLO. Boom. And then we're on the EOS R. There we go. Heather's putting on her makeup, so no worries about the motion sickness. But you know what's weird, and here's a tip for when you're filming, is when you're using your camera, and a lot of you who make videos know this, it can feel sometimes like you're going really slow, but to the viewer it still looks really fast. So when you're doing pans and tilts, you almost need to go uncomfortably slow, and then it will just look normal to everybody else. So it's kind of like if you ever do speaking or teaching, you can get nervous and talk really fast, and you have to like consciously make yourself speak slowly in a way that almost feels very uncomfortable to you, but it's gonna sound totally normal to your viewer and stuff. So there we go. Sorry you had to hear me drink water. There we go. Chris, what time do you start setting all this up? I put the little tripod thing together yesterday, just when I had the idea, and that's it. The rest of the stuff's pretty much always set up, so that's not too hard. Figuring this out, though, to do the stream and how I wanted to do it, and then having my laptop here to double check comments and the stream and everything, and to just double check like the script outline. Figuring all that out kind of took some time. All right. So I think I'm going to start recording. Boop. I think I can do that. Wait, this is the wrong camera shot. We want this one. Yeah, there we go. There's our main shot. Oh, and then I'll have to start that camera over there. Just want to make sure I don't look too funky there. All right. Cool. So what I normally do then, you're going to be listening to my secret audio that I can't reveal, but the video is going to be recorded with the Rode. Wait, you're over here. The video is going to be recorded with the Rode NTG, which you're not hearing. I think you could actually hear it. I think I could switch it, but I'm not. I don't want to juggle too many things. So basically what I do is I press record on the Sony, and then I'll press record on any other cameras or audio recorders that are also happening as well. Yeah, we'll just start that. We'll do the intro. So Sony's recording, other cameras recording, and that's pretty much it. So for the intro, since I know there's probably going to be B-roll footage, I can more easily read directly off of the script. Here we go. It's easy to forget how much everything we use relies on power, to overlook the power of the power supply, so to speak. It wasn't until recently that I realized how important an uninterrupted power supply is, so I finally picked up a UPS. And then the intro. Actually, I don't know if it's uninterrupted or uninterruptible power supply. Uninterrupted. If I get that wrong, people will tell me right away. So I think it's uninterruptible or either. Uninterruptible looks more common. Okay, so I'm going to redo that. It's easy to forget how much everything we use relies on power, to overlook the power of the power supply, so to speak. And it wasn't until recently that I realized how important an uninterruptible power supply is. So I finally picked up a UPS. And there's the intro. Okay, beautiful, amazing. Okay, Heather, I'll see you later. I mean, you're in the room right next to me, but I'll see you later. And now we are on camera. So basically, I'm not reading the script. The reason I read the intro is just to save time, but also to, this will be fun to edit out when I'm editing this, but also to make sure if there's wordplay that sometimes you really can't flip words and wordplay will not work then. So that's kind of important. All right. Otherwise, I kind of just get the gist of it and run with it. Okay. Now, to be honest with you, I actually felt like I walked into a secret club when I first heard about uninterruptible power supplies because it was new to me. It was news to me, and it seemed like everybody I knew, especially people who are really good at what they do and really serious about what they're doing, already knew about this and already been using one for a long, long time. Now, I will put a link in the description to the power supply that I use, but this video is not really about my specific power supply. It's more about the idea of how important it can be to use one in your setup, and if you're not doing that, you probably want to do that as soon as possible. I got my specific model from Costco, and the reason I got it, let's see, wait, no. I actually got my specific one from Costco, and the reason I got it is because it's the one they had at Costco. They had one kind, and it was this one. But my friend Doc Rock, who has an amazing YouTube channel that I 100% recommend, and he's one of my favorite people ever, is the person who recommended power supplies to me originally, and he's also the one who said, yeah, the Costco one is great, and it has been awesome so far. They sell it at other places too, but that's just where I got mine because like we needed to go get dog food and stuff. That's a lot of stuff that I'm probably going to edit out. So anyway. Oh, that was me saying this video is not sponsored. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now we got a little bit of a joke. So you might be able to find an uninterruptible, that's hard to say. So you might be able to find an uninterruptible power supply locally, or you'd have to order one, in which case UPS might deliver your UPS. Big ups on that one. All right. Okay. Now this power supply has become a lot more crucial since I started using the M1 Mac Mini. Not anything to do with the Mac Mini, but just because it doesn't have a battery. If you're running off of a laptop and your power goes out, you can keep things going through your laptop's battery. But if you're running off of a traditional desktop computer and the power goes out, everything just shuts down and you lose everything right away. Plus, it was honestly a little bit risky of me to also have all of this expensive gear like my Rodecaster, my ATEM, some lights, my speakers, all this expensive equipment plugged into just a regular surge protector and susceptible to all kinds of funky stuff that can happen that I didn't even really know about, because even though your wall outlets might be listed for a specific voltage, like where I live it's 120 volts, I don't know if that's the same across the world, I don't think it is, but surprisingly enough, it's not always 120 volts that you're getting out of your outlet. And so what that means is your device is either trying to, like, I'm not an electrical engineer, but it's trying to compensate for not getting enough power or having too much power. That is where surge protectors come in handy. So if you have your computer plugged into a surge protector and there's a storm or something and suddenly there's a huge surge of electricity or power, it protects your equipment from that. But that's really it. It doesn't regulate anything. It doesn't help you. But that's really it. It doesn't regulate anything, and it doesn't do anything to help you if everything just shuts down. You're just kind of totally out of luck. And that sucks, says Tom Buck. I don't know. Boy. Okay. So I'm going to pause recording real quick. and then we can jump back to here. Okay, so I'll check in with everyone here. So what was I going to say? I was going to say a thing about some stuff. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, there's a lot that gets edited out, as you can probably see. But basically what I'm doing, the thing came unplugged, so I can't show you right now, but I basically just have the bullet point on my script here now. I went through the main points at the beginning of the video that were actual, like, small paragraphs and sentences, and I recorded those, and now I'm just kind of going through bullet points and checking them off. So I love the bullet list feature of the Notes app. So I talked about it being a surge protector, talked about it being a power regulator. I haven't talked about battery, haven't talked about the okay. So I haven't talked about like features or anything. Cool. Boy, my watch is going crazy. All right, James, you're here. You didn't even know uninterruptible was a word, which is funny because one of my favorite bands, I should say this in the video, is the Interrupters. I need to bring that into the video somehow. Thank you, James. And Chris said nice. Fist bump. All right. No, sorry, I'm just making sure my hair has the proper swoosh to it. I don't know if it's harder to record for an audience. This is kind of exactly how it is normally. There's only just the pressure of like, I don't want to bore people. So I don't want, oh, I should, you know what? That's why I made this overlay. That way I'm not going to feel guilty. Come on, Tom. You've prepped for this. But anyway, that's why I made that overlay and stuff to do that. But it's also, the Sony camera has no recording limit other than the SD card. So that's cool, but my Canon has 30 minutes, and sometimes I can easily go like 24, 25 minutes, and then I'm always kind of keeping an eye on like, do I care if that camera stops? Do I want to keep going? So it was nice to break it down. Oh, Jeff, you found it. Yeah, it's unlisted because I haven't done a regular live stream in so long that if I did one, I think it would be like way too distracting for me. And I would do a terrible job at both things. The watch going off is the most distracting for me when I record. Yes, you know what? I actually should put this in Do Not Disturb, because what's also distracting for me is it keeps turning on and off like as I move my hands in the video, like the watch turns on and off, and people always say that's distracting. Chip says it serves as a great alarm clock in the middle of the night if you lose power. Actually, that's an awesome point. I didn't even talk about the alerts. Luckily, I haven't really had to deal with that yet, so that's cool. All right. It is getting incredibly hot in here, so I'm going to go turn on the air conditioner. I don't know how well you'll be able to hear me. The audio might cut out. Oh, hello, dog. Whoops. Open the door right into the camera. So, fun fact, Heather's office has its own AC system with thermostat and everything, but mine is just connected to the rest of the house. So, it's easy to get hot in here. But fortunately, it doesn't make noise, so I can have the AC on and it doesn't like get picked up by anything. Yeah, Megan, movie theater mode, that's what I put it in right now. Happy face, sad face situation. All right. Let's keep recording then. So we'll switch back to the Sony, press record, and I leave my Sony recording things on. I like the beeps, but that's just me. Okay. So what advantages does an uninterruptible power supply have? Wait, something about the interrupters? This might be dumb, but I'm going to say it. So even though one of my favorite bands is the Interrupters, you definitely don't want, wait, you want your power supply, you want a power supply, you don't want your power to be interrupted. I don't know. So even though one of my favorite bands of all times is the Interrupters, you don't want your power supply to be interrupted. That was just a shameless plug for a band that I like. What are the advantages of an uninterruptible power supply? Well, basically, as I already mentioned, it does act as a surge protector, but also it regulates the power, so that way your devices are always getting the same amount of power. And on top of that, it provides battery backup and basically a bridge when power goes out. So what I mean by that is there's a built-in battery in the device that's charging all the time when it's turned on. And if your power goes out, that battery, depending on how big the battery in your specific power supply is and how long the power goes out and how many devices you have connected and all that stuff, when the power goes out, that battery can keep things running, in my case, anywhere from 4 to 25 minutes, sort of depending on how many devices are connected to it and how fully charged the battery is. If you haven't had a power outage and things have just been running normally, the power should be fully charged on it all the... What the hell are you... So, okay, movie theater mode was more distracting than normal, than like just anyway. Anyway, where was I? If you haven't had any power outages and, wait, no. If you haven't had any power outages and everything has just been running normally, your battery should be fully charged and ready to go. And what this means is that if you just have a quick power outage, like it goes out for a few seconds or a couple of minutes, you don't have to do anything. Everything just kind of stays up and running, and then it just, power comes back on and smooth sailing. What it also means is if there's a really serious power outage, like there's a storm, the power goes out and you know it's going to be out for a long time, instead of just shutting everything off, it gives you enough time to turn things off properly, so that way you don't damage devices or lose work or anything. You can save everything you're doing, shut it all down, and then turn everything off on your terms, because you're the boss. Thank you, Roger. The UPS takes back the power from the interrupters. Takes back the power. Oh, Todd, you're killing it, man. You're killing it. Let's see, what else did I need to talk about? Battery for interrupted, battery for shutdown. The one I got is now the one I have is 1300 volts. Wait, volts or watts? What is it? See, this is where I'm like, I'm not an electrical guy. Cyber power. Cyber power UPS. They all look the same. Is it volts? Watts? Okay, we'll say it's VA. So this is where we get honest. So the power supply that I got is 1350 VA, which I don't know, is voltage, amps, watts, whatever. It is what it is, and it works really well for me. I actually wanted a 1500 one because that's what was recommended to me, but it turns out that with everything I have connected to this UPS, it only uses 11% of its power, which means that's a lot. Like, that's studio lights. It's not everything in this room. It's only the core things, but I have my computer, my Rodecaster, my speakers, my clock, a couple of lights, a couple bits more of audio gear, and I think some other random things. And sometimes I'm charging USB devices because it does have USB plugs on the front, and that only takes currently 11% of the power current from the UPS. So there's a lot of capacity in there, but it's very important for you to understand what devices you want to connect to it so you can figure out what size of a UPS you want to get. Definitely a situation where it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So get the largest amount of power that you can. The downside being that, unlike a regular surge protector, a UPS is kind of big. The one I have kind of looks like a cheap low-end Windows PC, and that's actually what The one I have kind of looks like a low-end PC, and that's sort of what people think it is when they come in and they see it. There's no real way to hide it discreetly, like under a desk or anything, at least in my case, so it takes up a lot of space. That's sort of frustrating, but it's definitely worth it for the protection that it offers. And on the back of the device, obviously, is where you connect everything, and there are 10 different outlets on mine. 5 of them have battery backup plus surge protection, and 5 of them only have surge protection. So what I've done is for things that aren't crucial for battery backup, I've plugged those into the I just burped in the middle of my sentence. So what I have done is for things that aren't totally crucial and it won't hurt them if they shut down without me saving anything, maybe like a light, I've plugged those into the surge protector. But for other stuff like my computer or more kind of in-depth electrical gear, I plug that into the battery backup so it will keep going. Now, if you're somebody who wants to make sure that your stream or your internet connection or whatever your online work can continue in the event of a power outage, it's very important to make sure that your modem and or your Wi-Fi are also connected to a UPS. It could be a separate one, it doesn't have to be the same one. You could have tons of them all throughout your house, but it's very important if you want your internet to continue, make sure that's also connected to a UPS so that way the power goes out and your computer setup is still working and the internet. The internet is still interneting. Whew. Fight the power device. Oh man. I'm getting a lot of ideas from the chat here. So you guys can just be my joke writers. Let's see. I should mention alert. And there is an alert, and there is an annoying and loud alarm that will go off if your power does run out. And there is an annoyingly loud alarm that will go off if your power runs out, so you won't. No. And there is an annoyingly pull it together. And there is an annoyingly loud alarm that will go off if your power runs out. So if you hear that and everything is still turned on, that's a good chance to come in and shut everything down so that way you don't have to worry about any of your gear. No fear for your gear. It's kind of big. That's actually like everything I wanted to say about it. Wow, okay. How long have we been going here? I'm just trying to make sure. That's kind of everything, honestly. Like, there's not much else. Do you guys have anything I should be saying for anything I missed about an uninterrupted power supply? I think that's kind of everything. Let me see. What can I do on mine here? I should say this. Most UPSs will have a display on the front that lets you cycle through some different settings so you can see the current level of battery charge, the current level of electricity that's being used, and also the current level of electricity that's coming in through your power in the wall, like your actual input from your wall outlet to the UPS. It will show you what that voltage is versus what it's putting out. So there's a very simple display on the front of pretty much any of them, but it's full of a lot of really useful information, and I recommend putting it in a position where it's easy for you to see from where you're working, whether that's under your desk to the side of your desk. I have mine kind of on a little cart over here, so if I'm ever wondering if I'm like pushing it too hard or anything, which I've never come close to doing so far, I can just push a button and see everything right there. And like I said, since most of these do have USB, and like I said, since most UPSs have USB on the front of them, and like I mentioned a minute ago, since most UPSs have USB on the front of them, and like I said, since most And like I said, since most UPSs have USB on the front of them, it's nice to have them near your computer because they can just function as an extra charging port for a tablet, a phone, or whatever, and you don't have to take up a slot on your computer. So we were talking about ISP, UPS, there's a lot of abbreviations and things. Chip, if you want your internet to continue, follow it all the way back to where it comes in the house and make sure everything, yes. Oh, you know what, Chip? You're totally right. There's a lot of features of this I'm not using. So here's what I'm gonna do. Actually, I'm gonna stop recording, shut everything down, and take my UPS out so I can look at it. Cool. Okay, so this is where I need to shut down my computer and stuff. Ooh. And I need to plug in these lights to different places. Well, we'll figure that out. All in due time. Okay. There goes my key light. Wait, what is that? There goes my fill light. Oh, this thing is so heavy. Whew. Oh my gosh. This thing is insanely heavy. Forgot that I hurt my back a while ago, so I need to re-plug in my lights and then figure that situation out, which will be fun because I get to crawl on the floor over here. Cool. Let's see. I'm going to switch the YoloBox's power. If you did get here late, I am running this whole stream off of the YoloBox Pro as a test, but also so when I had to unplug everything just now, I didn't lose my stream. Our Wi-Fi is not connected to this UPS. I am crawling under my tripod right now, if you're wondering where I am. Okay, we should have key light soon. That would be a D light. And a bunch of other stuff here. Oh, there's the fill light. I can't believe I got that right on the first try. It's amazing. Oh. So if I'm like sweaty and weird looking at the end of this video, now we know why. Kevin, this is a perfect behind the scenes, a case study to add a little context how to eat. Yeah, this is actually a simple video too, which is why I wanted to stream it, because I'm just talking about this thing here. It's like nothing crazy. Whew, but it's a lot. This thing is really, really heavy. I forgot how heavy this is. Oh crap, I didn't unplug it, so I can't pull it out. But I don't, or did I? I don't want to move my Sony camera because I don't want to change my shot from the beginning of the video. There. Oh, it's mad. Because it thinks it lost power. Well, it did. There we go. Whew. Did I also mention there's a back injury from this weekend, so this was really fun. All right. This is fun, though. Yes. So, Jeff, I should mention, this is all very fun. Like, this is what I have to do for my job today. It's kind of amazing. That's going to be real fun as I finish filming this video. I might have to plug that in. Okay, we'll jump back now. I'm going to use a couple of points that Chip reminded me of. Hit record. Boom. All right. So now, yeah, now we're here. Boom. What is this? Oh, I can like hear its battery. Ah, there's the sound. Now your UPS is going to be very, very heavy, so you better be super strong and buff like I am to carry it, because there's a big fat battery in here. What the heck was I gonna say about this? But depending on which model you get, you're gonna have a lot. I could just do this all in B-roll. I don't need to be holding this. But depending on which model you get, you're gonna have all kinds of different I/O in the. There's that alarm. See, when it's not plugged into power, that's what you're gonna hear. There's all kinds of I/O in the back to help protect different devices. In this case, I have cable, I have serial, I have USB, I have network connections. Again, depending on which UPS you get, You could also connect it to your computer via USB, and that way your ISP, wait. And depending, I'm like tired. Bye, Megan, I know you gotta go. I'm just waiting for it to beep again. And depending on your UPS, when it's connected to your computer and depending on which model you get, you can connect your UPS to your computer through USB, and then through the magic of your ISP, you can monitor it all the time. I just wanted to use all those initials in one thing: UPS, USB, ISP, UC, LOL. But for me, this one worked. I was able to get this for about $100, and it has been more than I need. Even right now, being unplugged, it's telling me, how much time do I have? I could run, well, there's nothing plugged into it, so that's a stupid way to measure things. It says 1,000 minutes. Plus, I realize I'm hitting the microphone right now. Chris, good thing you already filmed your presentation so that you don't have to further hurt your back when you leap into live tomorrow. That's right, and leap into live is happening right now also. We're gonna have this beeping for a long time while we film today. I think that's kind of it, actually. Those are like my main points. So what I'm actually gonna do, I think, let's see. Nope, that won't work. I was gonna try to plug this in somewhere else. Well, whatever, I'll just have to talk when it's not beeping. I need to do the conclusion for my video. So the conclusion says, talking about spending money doesn't seem... Now, I know that talking about something like a power supply is not nearly as exciting as talking about video equipment or a new computer or something like that, but it is incredibly important. And if you're somebody who relies on your computer setup to function properly and to keep things secure and safe and working well, it's really worth the investment in picking up a heavy, loudly beeping UPS so that you can be at rest because you're not going to run out of power. Hey, speaking of workflows and things, thank you to everyone who helps support my channel. I really, really do appreciate, especially all the members who actually watched the live filming of this video. And if you liked this look into my workflow, you can actually check out a couple other videos I have about my specific setup and how I've honed it to work for me. It's still beeping. All right, that's the end of the video. I'm gonna keep all the beeps and the mistakes in it, which is not because I'm lazy. It's because I actually like those little like weird mumbly things. Okay, whew. So yeah, so there we go. I'm done with the main parts. This is why it's helpful to bullet point stuff out, is I can sit down and talk about a UPS. I'm gonna plug that in so we don't have to hear that the whole time. I can sit down and talk about a UPS for a while pretty easily. However, making sure that, especially when I'm doing something else, that I hit all the main points I want to do is really important, because otherwise you find yourself just repeating yourself over and over and over again, and it just makes the editing process a lot longer. And like I said at the end there were mistakes, a thing beeped while I talked, but there are certain points in my videos, especially at the endings and sometimes like during the title at the beginning, where lately I've been kind of leaving in mistakes just because I think they're funny and it just sort of like sounds more human. And it's really funny to me when I like have an intro that sounds so perfectly worded and I'm like, you should get the blah 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 because of the blah 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 and the blah blah blah, and then it like crashes to a halt and it just, I don't know. It reminds me of like stuff like Bob's Burgers and things where it's like characters are mumbling over each other, and I think that's funny to me. If you power off the UPS, the alarm will stop. I've like never turned this off actually though since I got it. I don't even know how to turn it off. There's a power button. I mean, oh, hello. I assume I would hold the power button. That's it, you just hold the power button. I guess it's good that it does not turn off easily. Michael, you're here, just saw this live stream. Well, I just finished recording the A roll for my video. And now I'm going to go into the B-roll and then the thumbnail. And usually I'll take the thumbnail while I'm doing the B-roll, but I'm not sure for this video because this, I think this is cool. That's why I'm making a video about it, but it is a very boring looking device. And so making a thumbnail where this is going to look interesting is going to be really tough. So I'm not entirely sure. I think I might actually just switch this background to a bright blue and then just have it, because this is black, and then it's just boom right there, and I can put some cool text and some outlines. It's like way too heavy for me to like hold up or do anything. And yeah, so that's a thing we'll do. We'll do B-roll. Now, normally what I would do, which is sort of risky, is normally I would take my footage out right now and just double check it, which I can totally do because I have a second computer right here. Okay. I just want to make sure the audio and everything actually recorded correctly. Oh, you know what I can do? While I'm doing B-roll, I can put the wireless thing on my Sony that I'm doing B-roll with, and then you can see the B-roll as I'm filming it. That'll be super fun. But anyway, I'm going to check and just make sure like the main footage came through. This computer is not, this is my 2013 MacBook Pro. It's a great computer. It has worked incredibly well for me for a lot of years, but I think Apple officially has now classified it as vintage or obsolete. And it's still very usable. As you can see, I've been using it all day today, but it does not like, it's not going to like 10-bit footage from the A7S3. So we'll see. Let's just test it out. So it just can't play the footage. Cool. Cool beans. Maybe if I drag the footage from the card to the desktop, it'll be easier. Let's see here. We got some ideas here. Michael's saying maybe a photo of the details texture. I assume it's the UPS box. Yeah, it is. Because the details is, it's one of those things where it's like, do you want to show the whole thing so people know what it is, or do you want to show just part of it to make it look more interesting? But this is the creative challenge with this is a really cool thing. I can make the video really fun, but the topic itself is inherently boring, and so getting people to want to click on it is the challenge, and that's where the title and the thumbnail come into place. Oh, Chris, 7 years is vintage, 8 years is obsolete. Okay. Run it through the iPad Pro on LumaFusion. I don't have the USB-C iPad Pro thingy-mabobber. The SD card thing. Yeah, I'll just play it back in the camera and hope for the best. So that's interesting though, because it's just showing up when I put it on this computer, it's just showing up as black, which that would be terrible if I just recorded 28 minutes of black, which I am pretty sure is not what happened, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's see though. Oh, it's still... Now the camera doesn't want to read the memory card. Oh, because I put it in the wrong slot. Ha! See, that's the problem with these multi-slot cameras. There we go. Whew. That was kind of scary. Still not, huh. Okay, too much at a time here. I've been having issues with my camera lately. where it doesn't want to play stuff that's on the memory card. I don't know if it's a camera issue or a card issue. But now this is making me quite concerned. Can I record something? Yes, you're letting me record. Cool. But it's just that playback mode. Okay, so I really want to make sure, really want to make sure that the footage I recorded is on here. So I think I'm going to need to just plug in my computer, not into the UPS, but just into a regular thingy. This is all going to be very fun to reorganize. I had just gotten it like exactly perfect. All right, let's see. Which also, if you didn't know, I mounted my computer under my desk, and that has been awesome. Because normally I don't need to keep turning it on and off. But I don't think my display plugged in. Where is all my time on cable management? Oh, it's just, there it is. Yep, heard the display beep. Cool. I am getting quite the workout though, let me tell you. Look how fast the Mac Mini boots up. That's cool. I'm sorry, that's amazing. And I even mounted my little USB drive down here. So that way it's all just under the desk. It's really neat. Super duper convenient. Okay, all my clips are here. What's that now? Okay, yay. Mac Mini to the rescue. Yay, okay, everything's here. I assumed it would be. I just wanted to double check because there have been a couple times over the years where I've filmed a video, done all the B-roll, turned everything off, imported the footage, and then realized that like something went wrong and the A-roll didn't actually record. And that sucked. Let's see here. Roger's asking what memory card. Yeah, it could be a memory card issue. I haven't had any problems with this. It's this one. It is the Lexar. It's this guy. I think it's a V90, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a V90. So it's like, should be able to do almost everything that the A7S III is capable of. Let's see here. Oh, Mark, you're here. This is fascinating. I know you're not using one right now, but when you use an auto cue, does it scroll? Oh, yeah, I don't use the prompter very often, but I use an app when I do use it called Prompt Smart Pro, and I have a video on my channel about this, which does hear your voice and auto scroll with it, and it works really well for me. Other people have had mixed results. But recently, somebody told me that when they use their prompter for a script, they actually just use Keynote slides. So they put all their bullet points in Keynote, and then they just have their remote or their keyboard, and they just sort of like, it's not that they're reading word for word, they're kind of just hitting bullet points, and they do that. I thought that was a super smart idea. You could do the same thing with PowerPoint too, of course. Chip said, sorry, one last idea before I go. You could simulate a blackout by throwing the main breaker and keeping the live stream. Oh, dang. Chip, you're really chipping in here. Oh, this is a really good idea. I'm going to save that to the end. because I don't know how to do it. Logistically, I'm trying to do that. Beyond 280, it's great to see you here. I am just filming a video, basically. So I did the A-roll, double-checked my footage, and now I'm going to film the B-roll and the thumbnail. So that's pretty much it. Your corporate overlords had you wrapped up for the last few hours, but I'm streaming everything on the YoloBox. So here, for those of you who came in, I don't want to say late because it's not like you had to be here. Feels too teachery to be like, where were you? Why were you coming in late? Let me wait till oh, I should probably turn that on. Yeah, I'm using the YoloBox because I wanted to test it out. So this whole stream is being run through that over Wi-Fi, but also because this video is about power supplies for computers. And basically what that means is I had to unplug everything. And so it wouldn't have worked to do a stream when I had to unplug all that stuff. Leela says, respect that you're sharing your recording live. I'm definitely not doing that. I got the idea from El Jefe Reviews, so I can't take full credit. But let's see. Boop. Here we go. Here's my streaming setup for those of you who came in after the beginning. This is the YoloBox Pro, and basically my whole stream is just on this guy here, which is the Canon EOS R Sigma 24 1.4. This is my Benro Travel Angel tripod that I talk about all the time. It's like 3.5 years old, still going super strong. And then I used a bunch of iFootage arms and clamps and stuff. It's really one clamp with a couple of arms on it to mount the YoloBox Pro, which has 3 HDMI inputs. So I have the R, the wireless thing, and then I had my computer connected to it. Oh, actually, this is the Sony a7S III that I was actually recording with. And then there's the Hollyland wireless thing, and I have a mic running in here, but it's a secret mic. Secrets. And then see, I can see all the comments here. So Roger said, I've heard a lot of people having trouble with Lexar cards. Cool. I'm so glad to hear that. One of the things stopping you from live streaming is English not being my first language. Honestly, I wouldn't worry about that. And I know that's easy to say as somebody who speaks English natively. But I've never... I've never known anybody to have a problem with a non-native speaker on YouTube, because if anything, and this sounds sort of dumb, but it actually like adds to your charm and makes you more unique, because you might be talking about something that other people are talking about, but it's like the accent and the different perspective and even the cultural differences can be what helps. Also, Roger, like your English is amazing, so it's fine. But a big, like one of my friends is Peter Lindgren, whose channel just crossed the 500,000 subscriber mark. And we've talked a lot about, he didn't know if he should do Swedish or English when he started, and went with English just because it was more popular on the platform, and really was not comfortable speaking English at first. And now it's like, I mean, half of his videos are just him messing up in Swedish. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like part of it. So the reason I was laughing so hard when you asked that and I said no one will ever care is because I can think of one time it was an issue, but it was just with a mean high school kid when I was in high school. I had a chemistry teacher who was from South America, and but I don't think she was speaking Spanish. I don't know what language, I don't remember what language she spoke, but she had a very thick accent, and she was teaching chemistry, which was very hard because chemistry by itself is a foreign language basically, and then just to throw in an accent, it was really tough. And it was like 2 weeks into the new school year. She was a good teacher, like there was nothing wrong. She was a great teacher, and like it was hard to understand, but we were listening. And finally, though, in the middle of one class, I just remember, this was like the 11th grade, this one kid just looked to everyone behind him. He was like, I don't know what she's saying. I'm not getting anything. Is it just me, or is anybody else not getting this? And I don't know why, like, it was so rude. And it's something that, only a high school kid would do. But it's really funny to think that this kid had been sitting there for 2 weeks, not understanding anything, and just reached his breaking point. And it like really was funny to me. And the teacher handled it super well. And that's it, though. That's the only time I can think of somebody's accent being an issue. And that was just a kid being a dumb high school kid. Kombucha, what's up? I'm going to have to check out the replay. Love looking at setups. Well, we're going to do B-roll right now, so you'll get to see some B-roll being filmed. And Beyond 280 says, I love watching videos from people who speak English as a second or third language. It's fascinating because I get to learn about other cultures. Exactly. And it's, I don't know. I mean, that's the cool thing about YouTube is like, at least to me, I don't even think about it when people have accents anymore because I feel like we're so used to it. You know, if you've been an avid YouTube viewer for any amount of time, you've heard accents from all over the world, and it's not like, what? This person doesn't sound like they're from California? Dude, what is happening? Oh yeah, Peter's tagline at the end. Peter from Sweden. Peter's so funny because he's such like a big, potentially scary guy because he's huge and strong and now he has like bald and goatee, but he's also like the sweetest guy in the world who just wants to be goofy, and it's like it's so just confusing and funny. But anyway, let's do some B-roll. I'm gonna take a drink of water. My lensrentals.com, not sponsored, but the first time I rented a lens from them, they sent this to me, and then I was like, ooh, I like them forever now. Which is stupid. Like, I paid full price for that lens. All right. B-roll. So, I'm trying to think of how to approach B-roll. When I do B-roll, I usually do change the lighting around a little bit because I don't want the super high-key lighting that I normally have in my videos. So, I've talked about this in a few other videos. What I'll usually do, and this might look weird because I'll be, this camera might look a little funky. I'm going to turn off my B camera over here. Whoop, get that out of the way. So I'm going to be doing everything on the Sony, and I'll show you some cool tricks that I've recently learned with this. It's very fun. And then what I can also do is, instead of using my little wireless rig that I've got here with my Gerald Undone purple cable, I can take this and put it on the Sony. I've like never used the accessory shoe on this camera yet. But the more I use the A7S III, the more I really, really like it. And I'll show you why. I'll show you today. There's some super fun stuff you can do with it. Like put in the memory card. I need a different cable. I thought it was really cool when Gerald Undone got his custom purple, his Condor blue purple cables. I thought these were really cool. And then I was like, it'd be cool to have my own custom cables, but the default Condor blue ones are the perfect blue, so I already got them. Thanks, guys. Except that I just buy them at full price. Anyway. As you may or may not know, the A7S III has full-size HDMI, which is awesome. So I just plug this little transmitter here, and then as I'm doing B-roll, you can see what's actually being filmed. And pretty much everything's going to be through the 24mm lens. I do have the Sony 50mm 1.8 that I use sometimes. However, the Sony 50mm 1.8 is a good lens. The Canon RF 51.8 at the same price point is an amazing lens. That's what I use as my B camera. It's so clear, so sharp, so wonderful. The Sony is like pretty good. It's definitely an area where like, it's definitely a Canon thing that beats out the Sony things. I like our chat here. So, yeah, so anyway, to do B-roll, normally I film most of the stuff at the desk here. I think I can probably tilt this down a little bit, my main camera. Usually film everything here, but I need to clean off stuff, so I'm going to take my keyboard away, my little like Wacom pen, and probably don't need that stuff. I like this mat, this colorful mat, and then I do have this thing is a turntable, so it can like rotate stuff. That might be fun to use today to do that. And then lighting, I talked about high key lighting, so I'm gonna turn off this light. So it's a little darker there. And then I'm gonna move my key light. So you'll kind of be able to see what I mean. Let's see, there we go. So what I like to do, especially for something like this, oi, is dig through a box. Hey, I got it on the first try. That never happens. I like Jeff. I don't think Jeff's still here, but one of the things that first like really endeared me to Jeff was the reason he wears glasses in his videos is because he has extreme light sensitivity. And you know who else has extreme light sensitivity? Me, which is why none of my lights are pointed directly at me. They're all bouncing off of stuff. So anyway, I just said that as I was looking into this bright light. I'm going to put the grid on here, which if you've never used one of these before, basically what a softbox does is it diffuses the light, but it's still kind of spilling out everywhere. And so what the grid does is it directs the light, so that way it's not just getting everywhere, it's more directed, but it doesn't have harsh shadows. Like if you had barn doors, like spotlights that just have barn doors and things on them, it's a very harsh shadow. Like there's light and then there's no light. Whereas this keeps things very soft, but also directed, which is really cool. Like if you think about it, that's kind of a tough thing to achieve. And so we will put the boom arm out of the way. This light is just on a C-stand, as you can see. And then basically I just lift it up a little bit. It's also like got all the cables and plugs stuck to it. This is not a big space, if you were wondering. This is not a very large room to be in. So then I usually put this overhead, raise it up, kind of like that, tilt it down. What is going on with my power cord here? There we go. There we go. Kind of like that. Maybe up a little bit. And then normally, this, like I said, is the Nanlite Forza 200. Normally when I'm filming, it's at 40% brightness, which is this. For this, that would probably be way too bright right now, but I have it bouncing off a wall. So usually when I have the top down thing, I have it at like, I don't know, 10%, 12% usually, something kind of like that. Because I usually film with a wide open aperture, which means that the camera's taking in a whole lot of light. And so there's that. Oof. All right. What's everybody up to? Hey, Raphael's here. What's up? Yes, you get to see my shorts today. I've only been live streaming, so this is very educational. Oh, cool. I'm glad it's helpful. You know, it's a little messy because it's very long, but the YoloBox is going hour, 19 minutes. That's pretty cool. I like it. Don't need the computer here. Probably, I don't want to turn this off all the way just because this is like my backup chat monitor. Normally I wouldn't have that there. Normally this is when I put on a podcast and just like, or music and just have fun filming stuff. Not that it's not fun with you guys here. That's not what I meant. Boy, I put foot in mouth there. No, what I'm looking for is, I thought I had another power supply thing that I could use, but I don't see it. Oof. All right, well, I'm gonna go get a power supply. I have to get a power supply. I don't know if you can still hear me or not. If you can hear this, I am rummaging around the garage. Boom. Could you hear me talking?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Hello.
Really? Am I what?
A mic on your shirt.
I'm wearing a wireless mic, but it's not supposed to be It's supposed to be direct line of sight, so I thought it would cut out. That's out of sight. Anyway, I got a power strip. And I'm plugging stuff into it. Very riveting. This is the quality content you subscribed for. All right, I just want to make sure I can keep my computer going to check comments and such. All right. Whew. Normally it doesn't take me this long to set up B-roll, but you know, today's a little different. So a lot of times when I do B-roll, I actually have a video about this. I kind of start experimenting with different shots and different lighting and have fun with different things. This is going to be kind of a specifically tough product because the background here is dark and this is dark. And so that makes things difficult. But that's where like having this light might be helpful and bringing in like some of my Pavo tubes to sort of have these in the background, not as that color necessarily. There we go. Can also be helpful for that separation, that background separation. Plus we're going to use this in a little bit. And then while I'm filming, if something looks really cool, that's usually when I'll take a picture for the thumbnail. So there we go. Hey, Rob's here. What's up? Everybody's here. Let's see, is this where the power supplies are? This is my power supply. This is what I'm making my video about today. I've been using this for, I don't know, I guess like a month now. And I really like it. And I didn't realize how kind of risky I was being by not using it. So that's what we're using now. So anyway, you'll be able to see that through there. And now, oh, sure hope there's power for the slider. Let's see. Here, I'll turn on the slider. This is the Shark Slider Nano that I did a video about. I'm gonna pop my camera on here, turn it on. I was using this a lot yesterday and I didn't charge it last night, so hopefully it's still got power. If not, I'll have to. You can run it off of USB-C, but I don't know if I'm gonna be back here the whole time. So when you turn this on, it does like a little calibration thingy. And then that's it. Now it's basically ready to use. I'll plug in some power because I only have 47% battery. And yeah, so that's there. If I turn on this camera and this and this, if I turn on just everything in the world, I'm waiting for camera info to connect here. God, my phone is going, or my watch is going crazy. There it is. Okay, here we go. Boop, there's the Sony. So this is what we're kind of seeing right now. This shot, so here, I'm going to take this off the slider actually. So what I like to do is, for a lot of B-roll shots, this overhead lighting is really good for giving this kind of like, I really like this glow, and it does help separate things from the dark background. But the thing itself, especially when it's black like this, ouch, is really tough. So that's where other lights, like this small Pavo tube, can come in handy. So basically, I'm going to take a bunch of different shots. I like slider shots that, you know, give that parallax effect. We'll do close-up details and all that kind of stuff. And then those are kind of the basic shots that we'll start with. And then we'll kind of see from there where we want things to go. Oh my God, there's so many cables. Oh man. Everything should be wireless and full of unlimited power at all times. So the reason I'm doing that is I need to lower the camera to be more at the height of the table. But the danger when using a slider like this to do this is, since the slider moves, it throws the weight of the camera. So it's very important to either put sandbags or weights on your tripod or just be here to hold it. Like, don't do it totally automatically. And another good thing to do anytime you're doing product photography is to have a cloth, so that way you can wipe things down and get rid of fingerprints and dust and stuff like that. So I'm going to turn on the power supply, or at least try to. Should work. I guess I could plug it in. Probably doesn't want to be turned on because there's no power. So I'm going to plug this in, so that way the display will be on while we're filming. Oof. There we go. Come on, buddy. There we go. But it means you might hear some of that beeping throughout the video. Yeah, lots of cool people here. We're just talking about the weather now. So in addition to just beauty shots, this is also where I want to get like practicals. I don't know if practical is the right word, but for example, right now it's showing like how much voltage it's getting. And I want to make sure that people see that, so that way when I talk about like what the display offers, you can see. So one of my favorite features on the A7S III, and I think lots of Sonys do this, is you can do clear image zoom or whatever it's called, which looks like old camcorder zooming. And that is really fun. So since I like the way that this looks, that's actually, I'm just going to hit record and zoom in. Oh, it turned off. Nuts. There we go. What is happening? I'm not in the, there we go. Zoom. There, that's my first B-roll shot. We did it. Yay. But now, since we're doing that, it would actually make sense. Oh, you can see my reflection there. It would make sense to cycle through some of these different settings. Since I talked about this in the video, just so people can see that there's different stuff happening. There we go. That's pretty simple. I'm going to zoom back out. Now we'll get a classic parallax shot. So basically all I have to do is set a keyframe here on the slider, move it to where I want it to go, which would be here. Set a keyframe there, and get rid of some of this stuff that's over here. Probably won't use that, won't use it when it gets that far. And then confirm. So now all I need to do is make sure my focus is good. Press record and start. And now I'm not touching the camera or the slider. It should just be doing everything on its own. It's like not centered for some reason though. That's clearly a user error situation, so I'm going to redo that shot. Not just that shot, actually. I'm going to redo that whole thing. I want to move it here and keep it in the middle. B, confirm, standby. There we go. Yes. Record, start. Oh, crap. Forgot to turn on the display. And for me, I don't care which direction the slider moves because in Final Cut, I can just reverse it if I need to or anything. But I like this, how that the tube light in the back shows up. I think that's a really cool look. So there we go. Boom. We got our shot. I like a lot of, let's see. That's way too much light. Jeez, this Pavo tube is on 1% right now. That looks pretty nice. So what I want to do here is just do a tilt. Nothing too crazy. We're just going to tilt down manually, hopefully before the screen turns off. And it turned off. That's okay. We'll switch it to a different setting anyway. Let's switch it to battery capacity. We'll just redo that. And just like I talked about earlier, I'm trying to go slower than I would normally expect. That's it. Now I wonder if I play back, do you see the playback? I think you will. I can play back the shot for you. Oh, it's cool. It doesn't look like this display is flickering. I was really wondering if the display on this UPS would flicker. Now, another thing I really like to do. So here is I don't know what this will look like through the stream, but here's something I love with the UPS. With the Sony is to do 120 frames per second with active, oh wait, oh, it can't do it anyway. Really? You can't do, that's weird. It says active steady shot can't be at 24 FPS, but I've done that so many times. Anyway, I like doing 120 frames per second with steady shot enabled. And then instead of using the slider, just doing handheld shots because the slow motion mixed with the stabilization just looks really good. So let's see. I don't know what this will look like if I'm showing you 120 FPS. I don't think it'll look too weird. But I'm going to do manual focus. I'm going to get that where I want it and then just kind of like... Actually, that wasn't even... The tough part with 120 FPS is you do not need, so I need to go like from here to here. You don't need to do long clips because they'll take forever. So I have manual focus, so this should be in focus, and then I go here to the name on the side. And with focus peaking turned on, I can tell when it's in focus. So like from here to here, here. There we go. And if I play that back for you, you should be able to see what it looks like in slow motion. It's pretty cool. It's a shot that would be really hard to get on a slider, or you could use a gimbal, I guess. But I can just do it handheld, which is like such a total game changer. I don't know, I love that. It's cool. It's way cool. Big fan of that. So let's jump over here and talk about comments for a second. I'll come say hi to everybody. Whoop. What do we got going on here? Please keep the audio in the B-roll. Whoosh, whoosh. I should do that. Is there an acronym for thumbnails, TN? I don't know. I guess there is now because you said so. Mark, this is insightful. Will it be possible? Yeah. This is going to be just kept up as an unlisted stream because also one of the things I'm doing is I'm also using the YoloBox so that the people at YoloBox can see how it performs. So I want them to be able to watch it and see it too. So this will be an unlisted stream. You can watch it or share it or whatever if you want to. With all the blue and pink outlines, it's going to look good as a thumbnail. Yeah, because that's why I do those light things like in Procreate is to make stuff stand out. But I have a really fun idea that I don't think I've shown people yet. Wait. Kombucha said, do you want that keyboard? No, that's my computer, but I'm planning to just cut the shot before it gets there, or I just crop it out. I'm not too worried about it. Do I ever use Final Cut stabilization? Yes, a lot, and it's really, really good. In fact, lately, maybe for the past 3 months, almost every B-roll shot, I just add Final Cut Stabilizer because even if the shot is smooth, it just makes it like extra smooth. Sometimes it does weird stuff and it doesn't work well, so you really need to double check and make sure it looks good, but I do use it a lot. All right, we're gonna do some more. So what I need to show, What I'm doing now are just kind of like beauty shots that I'm thinking of for like the intro of the video. So nothing like too insane. I might want to do something with the lighting, actually. So let's go back to the Sony. And I accidentally turned on a light. So now what might be kind of fun, I really loved Chip's idea of, let's see, is this live? Yeah, it is live. I really love Chip's idea of like a whole scene where like the power goes out and stuff. I thought that was cool. But what I can do, so I don't know if I can pull that off or if I'm just going to be too lazy to pull that off. But what I can do is, let's see, play with my light here. And let's see. I'm going to have a shot where this is on. Oh, we don't need 120 though. Yeah, this does not need to be 120 FPS. So this is going to be on, hit record, leave it for a few seconds, and then cut the lights. And the power stayed on. I don't know. That might look neat. Gil, what'd you say? I want to do movie trailer voice for this B-roll. In a world with no power, one man with one desire, his equipment with a UPS. Tom Buck is the UPS man. I love everything about that. Okay, well, actually, while I'm here, I'm going to film the back of this thing, which sounds like a weird thing to say. I'll set it down kind of like that. Yeah, because the text is that way. So now, make the camera even lower. I always try to get rid of dusties and stuff that are over there. So there's that. This. I can zoom in. This is less of a stylized shot and more of like a people need to see this because people need to see this. I want people to be able to see what's, you know, actually on the back of this thing. So what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it. So I'm just going to record this for a little bit. Nothing too fancy there. I might even grab like a stick to point out like these are surge protectors and these are surge plus battery. Amazing. And then just for funsies, I think I'll do a slider shot. So here's our A point. Here's our B point. I just kind of leave it. By default, this slider does 20-second slides, and I usually just leave that for most shots because I find it's long enough. And then I just start it and let it do its thing. But it is not rotating today. What are you doing, buddy? Okay, I'm going to restart the slider because the slider is not rotating. Oh, sorry, I forgot people were watching the camera. I was like twisting it on the slider. My bad. Well, here, the camera's going to calibrate. I'll jump back over here. What do we got here? I think UPS man, I imagine Tom behind the wheel of a brown box truck. It's funny, it's not the same as UPS, but when I was born, both of my parents were mail carriers. So, I don't know, delivering stuff runs deep. All right, hopefully that. Sometimes with the slider, you need to like recalibrate it a little bit because I want it to keep this in the middle. There's our A point. Here is our B point. And I will be disappointed if it doesn't work. See that? It's perfect. Just do that again, but slower and better. Yes, okay. Sometimes I think it's my tripod head blocks the motor from turning all the way. So that's like a standard, nice, good B-roll shot. Fun stuff. Cool beans. Now, I think I'm going to switch lenses. But before that, I think I'm going to switch my streaming camera angle. Oh boy. I don't want to make you guys sick, so that's why I'm doing it from this way. Okay. There, I think. There. So I'm going to switch now. I'm going to do what I said and switch to the Sony 50mm 1.8, which I do still hate that Sony, up until the ZV-E10 at least, Sony cameras don't protect the sensor. And what I mean by that is here is my Canon EOS R, and I know this is kind of dark, but maybe I can make it brighter. There. So here's the Canon EOS R out of focus, right? Focus. Oh, this just gave up on even having a display on the back. There we go. Okay, so here's the camera. If I take off the lens, I don't have to worry because the camera's shutter, I shudder to think what would happen otherwise. Let me just try to get this guy to focus. There we go. Sorry, the lighting is so weird. The camera's shutter protects the sensor, like it closes over the sensor and protects it. So I don't have to worry about that. Sony cameras traditionally have not done that, which means when you take the lens off, your big, beautiful camera sensor is just right there. I know, Ben, our dog, is very upset about it. Until, though, the Sony ZV-E10 does protect the sensor. And the thing that's annoying is I feel like that's completely something that could be done in a firmware update, so I wish they would do that with other cameras. Anyway, we're going to switch to the 50mm now. Boom. There's the 50mm. It's an f1.8 versus the f1.4 that I was using earlier. So I'm going to bump up the ISO a little bit. And the reason I wanted to do this was to show these ports right here, because I think that these ports are important. There we go. So let's record. I'm going to do my camcorder zoom in because I like that for some reason. And then I'm also going to do just a slow pan. Oh crap, I realized I'm not using manual focus. Don't worry, we'll get there. There we go. I'm not 100% sure if this is in focus because I kind of did a janky job. I think it's a little blurry. There we go. So I'm going to do that again, actually. This is awkward silence. There we go. Now, what I always try to think is when doing stuff like this, does it mean something different if the thing comes in from that side of the screen or that side of the screen? Because when we read books, we read from right to left in like Latin language countries at least. So I always think that this makes sense because this is like how we're used to receiving information and that this is not how we're used to receiving it. So it's like, I don't know if that actually matters or not, but it's something I stress out over every time, which is why half of my shots end up just being reversed in Final Cut. I don't think there's not a heck of a lot else to show on here. I could probably show the USB plugs because I know people have been like, whoa, dude, I've never seen a USB plug in my life. Thanks, Tom. Otherwise, I would have never known what I was missing. But just since I talk about them, I might as well show them. And they should be in focus too. Oh. I cannot focus on them that close. What if I just pushed the power supply off the desk by accident? That would be kind of terrible. There we go. There's our focus. I'm going to turn it on. Do this. Actually, I'll do yeah. Keep it zoomed. So if you look here, you might even notice this is as sharp as this lens can really get. And it's good, but it's not nearly as sharp as the Canon version. And sometimes for stuff like this, I like to do that and then throw it out of focus. And then when we play it back, I'm going to reverse that shot so it comes into focus as I talk about the thing. The movie magic. Yes. All right. Cool. That's about as much as I can get from this setup, which isn't very exciting. So now we're going to bring in a little bit of help. Oh, how the turntables. Oof. Actually, this is going to be a terrible idea because this is plugged in to a power supply. I should not put this on the turntable. Because, yes. So my original plan, under my interrogation lighting, was to put this on the turntable and have it spin, but it is plugged into power, which means that it will get tangled up and could cause problems. So I'm not going to do that because I'm super clumsy and I'm likely to break stuff. So here's what we'll do. We'll use the backdrop that I mentioned earlier. Oof, this is so heavy. But anyway, these turntables, you can find them on like Amazon and stuff. They're like $80. They can hold like 150 pounds. I don't know what that is outside of the US. They come with a little remote, let you rotate them. They are super handy. Totally recommend. And then it gives you like perfect motion instead of you trying to turn something and it's like changing speed and everything. Let's look at some comments here in focus, hopefully. Oh, Todd, you're delivering mail. How crazy. That's awesome. Todd is the coolest mailman in the world. You want the Sony? Oh, you want the Sony A1. Does the A1 do the protective shutter thing? This, I love the EOS R, but this right here, though, is some of the autofocusing problems I was having. The ZV-E10 does, which is so weird with Sony because it's a good thing. I'm not even complaining about this, but Sony will take footage from higher end cameras and put them like, whatever their newest camera is just going to have some of their best features, even if a higher end camera doesn't have that feature. And I think that's cool. But it's just different from Canon. So how's the weather? Oh, it's hot. UK 150 pounds is about $172. Thanks, Rob. You're like our Alexa. I meant weight. I don't know, is that kilos? All right. So we're going to use these. I put these, there's a window back here that was really annoying, and so I hung these backdrops over it, and they can come in real handy. The gray one is a nice neutral color, but would you believe, I bet you can't guess what the other color is. I just hung it backwards though, so it's very hard to get to come down. There we go. That's right. It's blue. Blew your mind. Who could have guessed? There we go. All right. It blew the camera's mind. It went out of focus. There we go. So now, since my computer display is on this awesome articulating arm, I can accidentally unplug it and then move it over here, out of the way. Get the display out of the way. There we go. I can also get this guy out of the way. And now I have sort of like a little sort of a funky little area there, but I got it. And then I just need a surface. Well, I'll move the light. That'll be our first thing. And maybe pop this light back on. Yeah, just to get some fill going. Who's Phil? I don't know. Oh, Matt, you're here. 2.2 pounds to the kilo. I wish I had a plaid backdrop. That would be amazing. Now I'm just trying to think of what I want to set this on. Part of me almost wants to set it on anything and then just Photoshop it out, but then it would look weird like it's floating. Because this is also what I'm thinking of for the thumbnail, by the way. So I have... because it kind of needs to be up a little bit. And this is half of what I do, is just sit here and stare at stuff and wonder how I could do it. Got it. So if you live near a Home Depot, which is where all of my workbenches came from, you can get these. It's just a piece of butcher block for like $20. And it's made to go on some of their workbenches or their little like chests of drawers that they have. It's really nice wood, and it's just a great thing to have for like product shots and stuff. So I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way. Eep. And basically just make a little bridge right here. Is it janky? Yes. Does it work? Maybe. I'm going to use this NPR podcasting guide to level it out a little bit, because NPR is balanced. Anyway, now I've got like a table surface thing. Can unplug this guy again. It's gonna get mad, probably. There we go. There we go. So now, what would be easiest is to grab my camera and just sort of see what stuff looks like from different angles. I hope I don't make you guys sick, but so now I'm just trying to see. I'll play with more lighting, but I'm trying to, my thought is, since this is just a solid black device, that by putting it against a bright blue background, I can make it pop a little more. But part of me almost wants to like, it almost kind of, I did this with another thumbnail I'm working on. Instead of having it be filled with the blue, almost having it like you can see some stuff around it could be kind of cool. So I think I might do that and then play with the lighting to make it look really neat. Oh, Matt, congratulations on a grandchild. That's amazing. Oh, and Beyond, you have the same speakers. They're really nice speakers. I love them. Todd, your unedited recordings are 7 minutes of you saying something and 32 minutes of you looking at the camera with a blank stare. I get it. This is where, like, I could do this, because the YoloBox does have, this is not sponsored or anything, but the YoloBox has a line input, and I could pump in, like, music as background, but I'm still learning how to use it. So, yes, I kind of like the idea of setting up a little scene here, but I'm going to get rid of this stuff. So when it comes to Let's see, if the Rodecaster, everything's unplugged, so that's actually not going to be helpful at all. Of course. Everything is unplugged because it goes in there. I'm going to crawl on the ground for a minute. As I am wont to do. It's going to be very interesting to rewatch this stream and see like what happened. I like turning on the Rodecaster for thumbnails and things, even if I'm not using it. Hello. Because it, ouch, delightful. Has you know, colors and lights and stuff that I think look pretty cool on camera. So, I definitely need to play with the lighting a lot. Let's see here. And I will be plugging that guy back in so it stops making panicked noises. I'm the only one in here who makes panicked noises, buddy. That's my thing. There we go. So we're going to bring some light over there. And then I think I might even use this light, maybe. Might be able to put a light there. It's a lot of just trial and error. And then just like going with your gut. Like, I like the way this looks. Okay. I don't like the way that looks. Okay. And then you make YouTube videos about how to do it the right way, even though I don't know what that is. All right, actually, that's actually kind of looking cool, because now the Pavo tube I put behind it is giving a cool gradient, like brightness. If I can eliminate some shadows. Ooh, see, now it's not a solid blue, it's a gradient blue. Yay. That's cool. But I'm thinking, again, this is like thumbnail ideas. I don't just want, oh, let's see. I should also put this in photo mode. I think it'll still work there though. Yeah. Yeah, so like a test shot. Oh, cool. It like shows you the picture. That's cool. Boom. That's not bad. It should still be on though. Yeah, having the display on is better. Let's see. The Edifier speakers are legit. Yeah, I don't know. I got them when I got my turntable because they worked with it. But it turns out they're like popular and I like it. It's okay. It's comic relief. That's why I'm so smart. Why I'm so... Uh-oh. Gil, you just got your first 1 out of 10 video in a stupid YouTube short. You know what? Congrats. You got your little fireworks display. That's cool. I'm glad. You know what? I'm happy for you. I do wish, though, when you uploaded a short, you could tell YouTube it's a short. Like, I know YouTube automatically detects it, but I wish you could mark a box. It's like short. And then it doesn't throw it in the analytics with your non-short videos, because it's like they throw off your analytics so much. I feel like with this, I need something on the desk with it. Maybe a little light, perhaps. Or maybe the light could just be off to the side. I don't know. Oh, actually, that might be on to something there. Not even necessarily using the light. Not necessarily using it for light in the scene, but more as, like a visual interest, because this looks sparse to me, but if I'm thinking about putting text here, like something, something, you know, it could be important. And then I will clean up some of the ugly cables and things in Photoshop. Like something like that's kind of cool. I don't know. We'll play around with this. I'm trying not to make everyone sick though. I want to take off this strap though, because it's ugly in the frame. What time is it? We've been going for a while. We've been going for like 2 hours. Try moving it over to the right. Moving the light to the right. Maybe the light. I feel like I don't know if there's something that could be in the shot to, because it is computer related, but I don't have like, I'm not gonna undo my Mac Mini or anything. If there's other things that could be here, but if I'm planning on using text, because I'm always, this is definitely a thumbnail that's gonna need some, not clickbaity, but kind of clickbaity text. And if I'm gonna be doing that, then I wanna make sure to leave room for it. So here we go. I'm kind of liking this, because what I always do is then add in like graphical elements and things. Oh, move the UPS to the right. Twist it to the right or slide it to the right? Like, twist it. Ooh. This is looking cool. But the whole thing could also be more to the right. Uh-oh. This is sturdier than it looks, I think. Okay, I hope. Famous last words. Oops. I just want the display to have something on it for the thumbnail. That's cool. Could even try a simple one kind of like that. Let's see here. I'm hearing something moving over here and it's making me nervous. Like it's all just gonna collapse. But this is shockingly sturdy. Okay, yeah. The tough part is, oh, I think I can show you the photos, yeah. The tough part is trying to figure out where text would go. My impulse was to do it centered, but I think Matt's right. By doing it this way, I can have more room for text on the left, and then in Photoshop, what I'll do is on the UPS on the front of it, I'll probably like adjust the exposure of it so that it's brighter, and then I'll add in my normal Procreate lines around it, so that way it, you know, it pops a lot. I did a similar thumbnail like this for a video that's not out yet, and I really, really, really like it. Do you have one of the aperture bulbs that are self-powered? I do. I do, Matt. That's a bright idea. Where would you suggest I put that aperture bulb? Oh. I also just have the aperture MCs. I have the aperture bulbs, but they're all like, forgot how I set them to be for the lights, but I have the little MCs too, which are pretty amazing lights. Yeah, so you're just looking at a photo. You've just been looking at a photo for like a minute. That's awesome. Excuse me. Oof. Let's do some video shots. I think if I do video shots, I'm going to come up with more B-roll shot. Oh, put the aperture one where the tube light is. Oh, because it looks like a bulb too. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so my problem is I have these, the B7Cs. They're amazing. I have just put them in the they've been in an actual light fixture for so long, I forgot how to switch them into battery mode. I know you have to do a combo of the buttons. Now you're watching me read an instruction manual. But this would look cool because it looks like a light bulb. I just don't remember how to actually get it turned on. I thought it was like power and minus until it flashes or something. Oh wait, it's on the side. It's all 3 buttons will switch it from AC, DC mode. There we go. So all 3 buttons, boom. Should have done it. But it didn't. It's glowing green and then turning off. I'm open to suggestions. Because now I just want to turn it on. Because the way these work, if you've never used these before, they look like they're kind of like better Philips Hue bulbs, these little aperture bulbs. But they go into a regular light, but they also can run on batteries. But you have to switch them into a mode to be either running off of power or running off of battery. And I've only done that like whenever I first got them, and I haven't switched them back. So that's me. Oh, was I just not pushing the button hard enough? Dude. Come on, Tom. Come on. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. That's exactly what I wanted. What a bright idea, see? Ding. Anyway, let's pop the tube light here. Here, get this little road pin which can block it from rolling away. All right. Oh, I turned it off. Oh my gosh. Oh, that actually is looking kind of cool. This is way too bright, but I think Matt is onto something here. All right, so here we go. Boop. This is kind of what we're looking at there. Oh, power again. Keep forgetting. Oh, that's right. This is looking kind of cool. There's plenty of room for words and graphical things and fun stuff. I could do a live stream where I edit the thumbnail. That could be kind of fun. All right. So we got a few images here. I think these are looking pretty good, especially when you think of the magic of Photoshop. I think we probably have thumbnail. I think, dare I say, we have thumbnailed it. I can hear your laughter. Cool. I think that's going to work. I think what I'd actually like to do is, not today, but maybe later this week I'll do another stream where it's just editing this thumbnail from start to finish, because that'll be really fun. And I'll show you some examples of kind of what I was going for with it. Matt says, it looks great, but you're biased. But I appreciate the feedback, because you know what? I have not been utilizing these. I just have not been utilizing them as good as much as I should be, because I have these 2 little floodlights down here, and each one has one of the Aperture B7Cs in it, but that's kind of it. They just sort of turn on and off and stay blue, and I honestly have not taken them out of there since then, because I totally forgot how to switch them from AC to DC mode. But I don't know if you can see, if the camera can focus. If you get these on the side of the bulb, it has a key that explains how to switch all the different modes, so you don't need to remember it because it's right there. And my problem was not pushing the button hard enough. I'm actually going to leave that there. And now that I found a shot or a composition that we liked, I'm just going to get some video shots of it. And chances are, since I'm doing a live stream while doing this, I'm probably forgetting stuff. So I might need to like go back and do like pickup shots when I'm not streaming as well. But we'll see. Because this video, I would like to keep this as an under 10-minute video, maybe even closer to like an 8-minute video. But it's also, as we talked about at the beginning, a video about power supplies has the potential to be very boring. So having interesting visuals and stuff can be a really, really important thing to have. So now I'm just using the same setup basically, but we're going to do, we're just going to do some more B-roll shots. The nightmare of Photoshop. See, I've been tempted to try to leave Adobe, and I know Affinity is good just because Adobe's like subscription model I'm not a fan of. I don't think I could get, I don't think I can get away from Photoshop. Like it's too, they got me. And like, I don't want to become unfamiliar with Photoshop. I want to stay current with Photoshop. So now just sort of, I don't want to call them random B-roll shots, but just sort of general B-roll shots. And then we will be on a roll. So again, I can switch you here. Boop. So here's our setup. I can probably turn down my ISO a bit. And then basically, we will start here. And I just kind of want to move it to end there. Not a lot of movement there, but some. Turn on the screen of the thing, boom, and go. And if there's micro jitters here, then it just means I'll just add the stabilizer in Final Cut. It's no problem. There we go. That's cool. And now here's a fun trick with sliders. I bet you I could do this with my display. I'm gonna move it too much. One of my favorite ways personally to use a slider is for a reveal shot. And this is actually perfect because the display is just a big thing that's in the way. Oh, this is actually going to be like totally perfect. I'm going to frame up my shot and I'll show you exactly what I mean. But this is really, really fun when it comes to sliders. I feel like I'm crooked though. And then when I do product shots, if the shot itself is a little crooked right now, I'm going to fix that in Final Cut, which I know you shouldn't. If Raphael's still here, you should fix it in camera if it doesn't in post. But in this case, if my actual platform is crooked and my tripod's on carpet and things are a little like wonky, I'll just even them up in in Final Cut. So please, Raphael, don't be disappointed or mad at me. There we go. So here's what I mean by a reveal shot, is you start by something and then you reveal what it is. And I have this on manual focus, so that way the camera doesn't try to focus on the display or anything. It's just on the actual device. And so pretty much I'm going to move here, set a point, boom, set it and forget it. Here is a point, confirm. And then press record, start the slider, and wait for the shot. There it goes, boom. Oh, I forgot to turn on the display. Oh, you know what? I could do it right now. Like in the shot. Yes, now it's even more dynamic. Because instead of just the camera doing something, I popped in and did something as well. Boom. Yes. I actually really like that. Happy accidents. Now, let's see here. I'm going to see if we can do more handheld stuff, which I think could be really fun. Oops. I mentioned earlier always having a cloth. I have like little lens cloths all around. Just always want to make sure not to have dust and things. 'Cause no matter how clean you try to keep stuff, like it's always going to end up with dust on it anyway. Yes, okay. So I think this will be cool. We're going to do 120 FPS again. And I'm going to try not to make you feel ill. I can put on a different display. There we go. So this is just, I'm just going to kind of like do a weird rotation or something. And now that shot could be, I'll play it back for you. Hopefully you can see it. Oh, can you not see it? You can just see Hollyland. Did it die? Oh, it did. Oh no. This one's using a smaller battery, so let me switch out the battery. Luckily, the Hollyland Mars things just take the Sony NPF batteries, which like everything takes. So should be back up and running in just a second. Oh, move the monitor. Boop. There, now it's as invisible as possible. Apple used to have a pro photo app. I think it's called Aperture, but they like discontinued it maybe 6 years ago. It was kind of like Lightroom. It was really good, and I'm not sure. They just didn't want to keep supporting it, I guess. Not really sure. Okay, now I should be able to show you that shot. See how it looked. The slow motion change there, this isn't like slow motion 2018 style B-roll, but it's just to get smooth shots. I can adjust the speed, and then I can also, instead of making it a pull, I can make it a push in towards the thing, which is pretty neat. It's just a fun way to do stuff that that doesn't involve always having to like have it on a tripod and everything. Like I think it might be fun to kind of do it with the logo there, even though I know this video is not for this specific brand, but that's kind of a cool, like, the focus is a little funky. But that lighting is really neat. I like that lighting. I might I might do the opposite of what I just said and do it on a tripod and a slider. And hit my head. Because I like that. I like the way the lighting looked there. And then I can show you some real scary stuff that will make any camera people run for the hills. Maybe it doesn't have to be manual focus. Maybe it does have to be manual focus. Am I going to have to like pull focus here? I am not equipped for that. Actually, here's what we'll do then. We'll keep it, this is where we're in focus. And we're going to start out of focus, confirm. There, and now it should push the camera until it comes into focus. That could be a great start. You are not seeing what I'm seeing. Oh boy. This is what I'm seeing. Doing a lot of things at once. There we go. We did it. This could also be a good chance just to do another like tilty shot. Cool. I'm sorry, it was not on what I thought it was for like half the time. What else do we want to do here? We could do like just crazy, bizarre stuff. Oh, that's right. I said I was going to do something that was going to make photography people lose their minds. I'll do that. Or not photography people necessarily, but just camera people. Hearing all the clickies and the clankies. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you're ready for this. I don't know. So, here we go. We have Sony a7S III. We have Canon 24-105. We have Canon on the Sony. Sacrilege, how could I? So, Sony or Sigma makes an adapter called the MC11, which lets you adapt Canon EF lenses to Sony E-mount cameras, and that's awesome if you're someone like me who has Canon lenses. The downside is it will do autofocus for photos on all of the lenses, but it will only do video autofocus on Sigma lenses. So the Canon lens right now, if I want to use it for video, it has to be manual focus, but that's fine because half the time when I'm doing B-roll shots like this anyway, it's manual focus, so I don't mind that at all. And then I don't have to buy more lenses. Not that I don't want more lenses, but I don't want to have more lenses. I can move my little setup here a little bit. Because now, the reason I did the 24-105 is I want a more compressed, here you can kind of see here. This is an f4 lens, but I wanted to pull the camera back and then be able to really zoom in more and get kind of I guess it doesn't look that different, but I wanted to get more compression happening, was my plan. And I need to bump up, but I don't need to actually really bump up the ISO that much. But this is also, I am a big fan of this like snap zoom thing. So it's like, there's the display. Wait, what'd you do? What's it do? That was weird. I got a weird error there from the memory card of all things. Let's try it again. Snap. Yes. Oh, see, it went black over there. Yeah, that was weird. That was super weird. But everything's still here as I cycle through it all. It's all still there. Oh, because it was... Weird things are happening on the stream. I'm seeing this. I'm here. My other Hollyland died? Did this one die too? Oh. This battery just didn't last like at all. That was the problem. Well, maybe that's a good sign then that we should wrap it up. If all of my batteries are dying. But yeah, so let's see here. I can try it try one more battery. These should all be like fully charged. I have a rule where the batteries don't go on my shelf unless they are fully charged. They're always either on the charger charging or they are on the shelf because they are charged. Nothing else. I'm just waiting to see if it's going to link. There we go. Should be good. It seems like doing the playback across the Holly Land is like for some reason taking up more energy, but yeah, here was some thumbnails. Yeah, okay, you can see everything I'm doing there. That's good. That's good. That's a good. So, you know what? I shouldn't forget it while we have it here. Stay there. I should definitely make it a point. Well, let's say to show the ports and things on the back of this, because we already did earlier a little bit. But I think it's definitely something that people would actually need to see while they are watching the video. And I don't know, just the 24 to 105 gives a different look than the other stuff does. So we'll just do a tilt. I could try something super strange. I think I am going to try something weird as our little finale here. What am I doing? See, this is what I was talking about with the Sony cameras, though, is I like to have my next lens ready, and then basically, as soon as the old one comes off, the new one goes on. So the sensor's like not exposed. It's exposed for as little time as possible, basically. Because I don't want anything to happen to it. And now, change a couple settings, go back into here. Yes, there we go. So this is the 24 millimeter lens, and we'll come back to it here. Boom. I'm just going to do more like handheld stuff. See how that looked. Yeah, that's cool. Megan, you're back. I'm about to wrap it up. All my batteries are dying and I'm running out of ideas, but you know what, though? This is like, the back of this thing is much more interesting than the front. So I'm just sort of playing around there. Part of me also is thinking that I might want to just snap a photo here, because this is crazy looking. And one of these might also be thumbnail material. Ooh, I kind of like this. When I do my thumbnail stream, I'll explain, like, even if those don't work, I'll at least explain what I was thinking about. So that's that. Normally, I feel like I didn't quite get enough footage. Do I have? No, I don't. I was trying to think if I had like a remote control lighting thing, but I don't really. So that's okay. Unless there's any last shots that I want to get while I have everything set up like this. I might want to just try one thing here. This was another suggestion of Doc Rock, but this little remote, if the camera will focus. Yes, this NanLink remote. It's the 12-channel remote for NanLink lights. I got it for like $12. It's $1 per channel. And I think I have it set. Yes, so there's my key light. I don't have to go back there to do key light things, which is delightful. So, I can't remember what my idea was though. I don't know. I had like a cool idea for a shot. I don't remember what the heck I was gonna do. Maybe I'll take this out and let all the dusties fly. Hopefully you can't see the dust. There we go. So it's a little brighter. It just looks a little different. It feels a little different to have that off of there. I totally had an idea where I was like, I'm going to do this thing, and I don't remember what the heck it was. But that's okay. And my slider has run out of battery, so I'm just manually sliding it in. Actually, that was very cool. If you wanted to see the shot I did, it was like that kind of a thing. It's really fun. Man, the heck was I planning to do? I don't know, let it record and just turn off the light. Turn off the light. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing now. So I guess that means we're done. Right? Once I don't know what's happening, then that pretty much means we're done. So I'm going to put my lighting back where it was, and then we can wrap it up. All right. So, and my audio is still going too, which is cool. So very important thing. If you, I highly recommend this if you haven't checked it out yet, is Kevin the Basic Filmmaker on his channel has a studio tour video. And he goes all over his studio where he, talks about his studio tour, but he goes into his whole production process where he also explains that he's not done with a video until everything is put back where it was before he started. And I love that idea a lot. I'm not going to put every single thing back right this second. Oof. I think that thing weighs like 25 pounds. It's pretty heavy, that UPS. But I'm going to put my lighting back because that, and put my lighting and my backdrop back. And that way, as we wrap up, if anyone has any questions or thoughts or comments or anything, I don't know, there's time for them. Boom. That. Megan, I know you got C-stands. I'm wondering how you're liking, or at least you had the one C-stand. I'm wondering how you're liking it now that you've had like a little more time to use it. There we go. I usually keep this light pretty low. Hello, the screen's in my way again. Oh my goodness. There we go. You ever notice when you're being watched doing something, it's like 10 times harder to do that thing? And then I just reposition this a little bit. It bounces off here, kind of like that. And bump up the brightness. There we go. Boom. Now the lighting is, it's back to where it was supposed to be. Hooray! And let's see. Oh, I'm gonna pull out my chair and then we can hang out here for a few minutes. So, well, I think everything is like shutting off now. As you can see, everything is shutting off. Let's see here. Heather, you like the blue paper? I like that. Oh, you got a cheap light stand, but I like how mobile it is. That's a good thing. It's not the Rode Wireless Go. I can't tell you what my secret microphone is, actually, which I said at the beginning, and it's funny because I feel like the coolest YouTuber ever, where it's like, I can't tell you what it is. But I'm not doing like a release video or anything on it. It was just a microphone company was like, hey, Tom, think you'll like it. Like I had talked to them for a while and they were like really excited about this. Do you want to check it out? I was like, sure. And they sent me it. And then they were like, oh, by the way, it's not out yet. So please don't put it on camera. I was like, okay. But I've been wanting to try it out because I do want to make a video about it. It won't be like a release video because I don't do those, but it's cool. And it's been powering through for hours. I don't know what the battery is at, but it's a secret. Cool. Oh yeah, if you're talking, I don't know if, Gil, I don't know if you're talking about this, but I have an auto pull up here. Boom. Raphael was the one who recommended these, but it's like a big friction arm that can go from wall to wall, or you could even do it from ceiling to floor. And they're very, very strong, and they mean that you don't have to put holes in your wall to hang stuff. You probably wouldn't want to do like, you know, anything too absurd, but they're really strong. So you can definitely hang like some lights or a mic or an overhead camera or something from them. They're really, really fun. I'm using a wireless lav mat, but it's not only a wireless lav, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a wireless thing and it's fun. You should do, oh wait, it sounds fantastic. That's good. I want to make a video on it. I don't even know when it comes out. This is like the worst. You know, it's not one of those things where they're like, this is the product. It comes out on this date. Make a video for this date and time. Like, I don't even know when this comes out. They didn't even tell me it was unreleased when they gave it to me. It wasn't until after they were like, oh yeah, just don't tell anyone about it. Roger, you're still here. Editing your next YouTube video while watching you making one of yours. There should definitely be more of these. Yeah, I mean, I stole the idea from El Jefe Reviews yesterday. And it was really fun. So, and this was, again, all on the YoloBox, which I had the original YoloBox, and it just didn't work for me that well. Like it never clicked with me. But this one, the YoloBox Pro, is working a lot better. It has 3 HDMI inputs. It's run for 2 hours and 37 minutes with 0 dropped frames. I've made mistakes, but it hasn't dropped anything. It's all on Wi-Fi. I can pop up, you know, comments. They even did some updates with like green screen and stuff. I might have a green screen later this week, and when we do the thumbnail thing, I could do the green screen like tutorial thing live. That would be fun. Anyway, it's got mic inputs. It's working really, really well. So I'm pretty impressed with it. And I just want to keep using it and seeing how it goes. Plus, I have Canon and Sony cameras connected to it. Plus, I was running different frame rates, plus the Hollyland things, and it was working fine. The original YoloBox, it was like, it really didn't like Canon cameras. You could get like this weird little adapter emulator thing, and they would kind of work with it, but this one works on any frame rate, any camera, whatever, and that's awesome. I like, Matt, that you can't see it. Yeah, I did a thing. I've never done this before. It's just hidden behind, well, the actual lav thing that I'm using is nothing like special, the mic itself, but the unit is different. But I pinned it right behind like the flap. Normally it would be on the outside of your shirt, and I just sort of pinned it on the inside, which I've never done before, but it was on while I was recording the video, so hopefully it didn't show up in the video. I'll have to go back and listen to hear how it sounds, because I'm also figuring out audio in the YoloBox as well, because you have all kinds of audio settings. And I think I have this set, I have its volume, the actual unit's volume turned up pretty far, and the YoloBox volume is at 60% for that mic. So one of my complaints is that the audio levels on the YoloBox are like, they're slightly delayed. They're not like fluid, like bouncing audio meters. They're just, I can kind of get an idea sort of how loud I am, but it's not like super duper accurate. So it's kind of hard to tell. But anyway, that's pretty much that. So I'm gonna go eat lunch because this honestly didn't take that much longer than it would normally take. Oh my God, I have a meeting at 1 o'clock. This didn't take that much longer than I thought it would normally take to film a video. I do have a meeting in 15 minutes, so I should go to that. And yeah, I'll probably do another stream later this week. I don't want to overlap with Ecamm's Leap into Live stuff if I can help it, so it'll probably be like a Thursday or a Friday thing, and we'll edit the thumbnail that we did today. I might take some other shots if I don't think I got enough footage today, but I'd love to be able to make the whole video with everything that I did during the live stream. That would be super cool. That's the basic process from start to finish. Usually there's less of me talking and being distracted because I'm not also streaming it. But this was super fun because it doesn't feel so isolating and lonely. So anyway, I'm gonna go eat a fast lunch and then I'll be in a meeting and I'm sure I'll see all you guys around. So thanks so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a safe, happy, healthy, fun rest of your day. And I don't know how to end live streams on here. I think I pushed this big red button. Oh, do you want to pause the live stream or just end it? So I could pause it. That's cool.